So hello and welcome to Dommy Tries This. I hope you brought your cuppa. Today's coffee cup says Mrs. Always Right. I believe my daughter and I found this at a Kroger. I'm not positive, but it's a cute mug. I love the little lips and everything. Now I can't say I'm always right, but they didn't have a Mrs. Always Honest or anything like that. Just this one. I think she's cute. Anyway, today's tea is the Organic India Tulsi Turmeric Ginger Stress Relieving and Harmonizing Caffeine Free Certified Organic. We don't really care about the organic label around here. It's just a more expensive way to get you to spend more money. But overall, as I recall, I do like this tea. It's from one of my Sips by boxes in the previous months this year. Let's go ahead and get a sip and we'll go ahead and get started. She's a beautiful tea. You get both that turmeric and you get a touch of that ginger. The ginger's not overpowering, which is really nice. It has been sitting here for a few minutes while I prepped my face. So it's probably about at full strength. It'll probably be just a little bit stronger by the time we're done. But other than that, it's a beautiful tea. It really is. It's one of those teas I actually should consider putting in my to buy if I ever run out of tea box, which is back here, but I don't foresee myself running out of tea anytime soon. So as it says down below, we're doing a get ready with me with mostly new stuff. It's not all going to be new stuff. Don't have new stuff for everything we're going to try, for everything we're going to use today. But, and then there's also a few things that I just kind of, but we've already started with some new stuff. My primer today is the Laura Mercier Foundation Primer Radiance. Some of these are older things that I've had for a little bit. I just haven't played around with them because my boxes and other things, I just had a lot of stuff. So this is one of the older items that I've had for a little while. I have not tried it. I do see a bit of a shine. I'm not sure how that's going to work with the foundation today. I did use my usual 16-hour e.l.f. Camo Concealer and my usual RCMA powder for starting my eyes, for actual primers that go over the concealer and the powder. I used my setting spray on my nose, so I also used my Kryolan eyeshadow primer on my nose because this is the setting spray that I use and the primer on my nose are to help make the foundation stay in place despite my glasses. And instead of that on my eyes today, I used the Ulta Beauty Tinted Eye Primer that's in Satin Blush. This thing is a little weird. It is tinted. It's much more tinted than I thought it would be, but it's also shiny. I don't. That looks more like a highlighter or something to me. It's very strange. But that is over the concealer and the powder to prime my eyes. All right, so we are working with a brand new palette. I had 4 palettes that I was looking at using today. I put up a kind of a poll last night in both the Dommy Tries This and my Ipsy group. A little thing on here. And I put the 4 palettes up and I showed off the palette covers and then I showed off the palettes on the inside. And the one that won is the Just Peachy Cosmetics Juicy Fruit. This is a bright colored palette. Surprised me that people didn't want to see me in something a little different. This one won by like 2 votes. So it's a bright colored palette. Most of these are mattes. There's a couple of that look kind of more on the shimmery side. I have a bit of an idea of what I'm going to do, so let's go ahead and get started. So it's interesting that this is called the Juicy Fruit and all of these are named after fruit. So we're going to start with banana under the eye. My only concern about using these lighter colors like the yellow and seeing if it'll actually show up yellow is because of the tint on the eyeshadow primer. The very strange bright tint, shiny tint on the eyeshadow primer. But we're going to give it a try and see if it stays yellow, if it turns orange, if it shows up at all. first time using this. I opened it on the channel and I believe I swatched it, but I haven't actually used it. So here we go. Okay, she's showing up as yellow. She doesn't look to have any extra shine. And it's about the usual kind of response that I get from a yellow, in that I have to kind of really build up yellows, most yellows from most places, because yellow is one of those colors that just, I don't know if they just have trouble making them well, or if it's just my eyes, my skin tone. It's bringing out the pink of that eye primer. But anyway, it's coming up as yellow. All right, so I'm going to take this color Mandarin and I'm going to put that on the inner corner. This is kind of a risk because there's a good chance it won't show. But I kind of want to, I was thinking about doing the pink and the purple and the red, but let's start with the orange and see how that works. It's called Mandarin. Well, she's actually showing up. She is not a dusty orange. She is actually showing up in there. That is nice. These are matte colors so far. Like I said, there's a couple of shimmers in here, but that came out really nice. I'm really impressed. Been finding a few companies lately with some really nice mattes. Y'all know the big question will be whether or not this stuff stays on my eyes. All right, I'm going to use the same brush, and I'm going to snag this color called Plum, which is that bright pinky color right there. And I'm going to put that in the middle. Plum has a little bit of glimmer to it. Can't say that's a full-on shimmer, but and on the eye, well, it's probably, I might be because I have that orange on top, but she's not coming up nearly as bright. She works really well with that orange though. Dusted it off just a little bit. We're going to use the exact same brush yet again, and we're going to grab some of this red apple and see how well that does on the outside. Reds are amongst those that are kind of troublesome for me. Reds, yellows, and purples. Browns are troublesome because of my skin tone, but reds tend to lean more orange, and I prefer a blue red, and purples tend to not be the color that they are in the pan. They end up pinker and brighter for the most part, and yellows tend to disappear, as I've noted earlier. So let's see if you're going to be a red. Something left a blotch of glitter on my face. She's coming across. Trying to build her up a little bit to get that color in there. I did brush off the brush even though I'm using the same one. She almost matches the plum color. So I will say the colors are so far, the mattes at least, are a little bit on the dusty side. As you can see, we have fallout. They have had some kickback in the pan. It's not been horrible. It's not something I can't deal with. It brushes off fairly well, so that is nice. The red is on the more of an orangey red rather than that blue red that I prefer, but that's okay. It fits in with the color scheme we've done. So now I've grabbed my e.l.f. Professional, the round brush that I really like, and I am going to take this color Acai, and I'm going to put that in my crease and do my little point. Acai has more of a satiny or shimmery finish. She's still a little dusty. She's definitely coming up a little, quite a bit lighter than in the pan. But she's a pretty color. She's taking some layering, but since this is the first time I'm using this palette, you know, I find some palettes, you have to get through that top layer for some reason. And then all of a sudden you have a lot more color. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe it's from the pressing process. She's a pretty color. All right, so now I have my Luxie mini round that we got in BoxyCharm not too long ago. And I'm taking this color Blueberry and putting that in the crease to deepen that up and give me some depth and dimension. And we're kicking out a little bit and kicking in just a little bit. Blueberry is doing really, really well. I'm going to put just a touch underneath, about 1/8 of the way along my bottom lash line, and bring that out. There we go. So for the bottom, for the lower lash line, I'm going to use Blue Raz. I'm sure it's supposed to be like raspberry instead of blueberry, but Blue Raspberry on the inner corner and this melon color on the outer edge, using a Luxie small shader. It has a nice, good packed tip. Makes it easy to do this. Ooh, she has a lot of fallout. I'm a little worried about that. Going about halfway. She has a little bit of a sheen, which is nice. You see how that fallout? Be careful using this one. Brush it off a little bit, then grab some of this melon, which so far has the least amount of kickback in the pan of any of them. Interesting. Going about halfway and then all the way into the dark blue. The blueberry we put underneath there and out. Just doing sort of a bit of a mix of those colors. Oh, that came out nice. I actually really like that. It's pretty. I'm grabbing my blender. I'm going to blend these colors a bit. We are bright today, folks. But we're just trying to mix these in a bit. Clear up some of those lines. So my first impressions opinion on this palette is that it's really nice. The colors do show up really well. Most of them are mattes, which means that them showing up really well for me is really saying something, because I don't like mattes, and most mattes just for some reason just look very dusty on my skin. They don't really work well. It doesn't matter usually if they're colored or not. This is probably what, the fourth brand that I found where the mattes look really nice on my skin. So I'm very happy with that. They applied well, they build up well, they blend well. It's actually a really nice palette. I just started using this CoverGirl TruBlend Undercover. I actually do like this based on the few times I've used it. And I do mean it's been only a few times. We've got a few spots that need some coverage. And she will also help clean up lines. Let us take care of our lines. So we have nice, clear, straight lines underneath the eyes. And then once our lines are in place, we can take our bigger fluffy brush and finish blending out and covering up. She does a good job. I would say this is on the lighter end of medium coverage. She does do a good job of covering up my redness a little bit, but my redness has been greatly reduced since I started using the Derma-E Sensitive Skin, I think it is, moisturizer. It's in a green bottle. And that has helped lighten up a lot of my redness around my nose. I think if my redness were as dark as it was before I started that this particular concealer would not help as much, and I'd still be color correcting. But I think it does a really good job of lightening up everything in here and covering the redness. And like I said, it gives me some nice straight lines right there. So we're ready to try our new foundation. Now, these foundations that I have do not have a lot in them, so I'm just going to work with what we got. I got this Jouer Essential High Coverage Cream Foundation sample pack. And they actually sent them in little tinfoil packs. So this has basically one from each family, I think. Yeah, so we have fair, light, medium, tan, dark, and deep. So each one of these represents one of the colors in there. The fair and the light are going to be too light for me. The medium one is Fawn. So that's third one in. She might be a little bit too light. And in the tan one, we have Bronze, which is the first one, which might be a touch dark, but I think I'd rather be a touch dark than a touch light. Okay, so let's see. Oh, she's loose. Oh, she's really loose. Okay. All right. Really loose. I tend to not like loose foundations, but anyway. I mean, that's practically water. That's practically water. Oh, goodness. Really loose. I don't know if you can see her, but look at her go. That's really loose. All right, here we go, guys. The color looks like it might match fairly close. Might be a touch dark. She don't look orange in her undertone. Oh, this is gonna be fine. All right, so she might be just a touch orange in her undertone. Now, I poured out the entire packet, so I may not have needed all that, but we will see. Blending out nice. Oh God, yes, she's orange. Okay, so I would say that it is on the fuller side of medium, lighter side of full. I have a little mark down here. And I can barely see it. I can still see it, but barely, so. She's not full on full. It's a little dark mark. Oh Lord, she's orange. She's orange. Oh Lord, she's orange. There really isn't enough here to see if it's buildable. she's dry. It feels like she's drying down fast. And it is matte. It's definitely mattifying. So over this particular primer, it's not coming off as matte, but I can tell that it's matte. I'm going to pick up what little I can and see if I can cover up that mark completely. Yes. My mark is completely covered, and it doesn't look cakey. It doesn't look, you know, heavy. I don't feel it very much on the skin. I mean, there's that sensation that I just put on foundation. But beyond that, the only place I'm having problems at this point is right under my eyes and in my nose. It is definitely showing texture there. I do have the Jouer Essential High Coverage Liquid Concealer. I actually do like this concealer. She's a little bit lighter and a bit more on the neutral side. So what we're going to do is do some mixing. Just a little bit. Gotta move fast, gotta move fast, gotta move fast. Come here. Again, using that flat brush. It's supposed to be a foundation brush, but I use it just to make sure that my lines around my eye makeup don't get mucked up. All right, so I do have a powder I'm going to play with. Again, it's another powder that I haven't tried, that I've had for a while. That's the Bare Minerals Original Mineral Veil. But before I put this on, I'm going to use my Milani Translucent Banana to kind of lighten up under my eyes a bit. It does not add to any of the caking or creasing that I can get underneath my eyes. I do have a lot of texture right in the inner corners in here, and a lot of times that will show up in the products that I use under there, the concealers and stuff. It's not anything that I seem to be able to do anything about, unfortunately. All right, so this is open. It is a lighter color. I'm a little concerned about that, but I'm going to, this is dry. This has dry. Okay, so I'm going to grab some of this powder and I'm going to put it out on my thing that I use as a palette. Alrighty, so this is the Bare Minerals powder. That's actually pretty nice, and I think it, if it didn't get rid of, it reduced some of the orange cast. And it is a slightly tinted, so I also think it kind of lightened the foundation a bit, which I don't mind at this point. So I like the finish I'm seeing too. All right, quickly did the brows off camera. Nothing on there was new. It was my NYX Control Freak and my CoverGirl Ultra Fine, so those were not new. We are going to now use a new eyeliner. This is the Ciate London Fierce Flicks. She's in black. Never used it before. This was in that Christmas package I got from Too Much Mouth. Nice color. But I kind of expect that from Ciate. You may have stuff that doesn't have like eyeshadows or blushes or bronzers or things like that that don't have a lot of pigmentation. But in general, I expect good color from Ciate. I'm going to finish this up, and again, we'll be right back. Alrighty, so the Ciate worked really well for lining the eyes. It did not work really well for doing my wing. For doing the wing, I went to the Suva Beauty, I can talk, that I got in my, I believe it was in my Ipsy Plus. So, my first Ipsy Plus, I believe. But yeah, I don't know. it may have sat too long. It was starting to dry out. I was having some issues with it, so I just went ahead and used that with some setting spray. Okay, so this is the Lancome CILS Booster XL. I'm going to use this instead of my usual Maybelline Great Lash to boost my eyes. As you can see, it shows up white on the brush. It's lightening my lashes, but it is not turning them white, which is fine with me. So on first impressions, I think I like this CILS Booster XL. I went and used my Urban Decay Perversion, which I'm trying to get rid of before I have to throw it away. This is their mini size. I love this mascara by itself. It does give me beautiful lashes. But I do like to boost it in the sense that I like to use like the Maybelline to give it more stick, whatever. But when I use another mascara like that, I usually have to use about three layers on top of the other mascara. I only had to use 2, and I think that the eyelashes came out beautiful. There's no coloration from this or discoloration from this, and it did give me longer and I think slightly fuller lashes. So I actually think I like this one. I'm not sure. I think it comes with a mascara, and I'm not sure. I haven't tried the actual mascara yet, but yeah, I think I like the actual booster at least. So for bronzer, since we're looking so orange today, I mean, not as orange as I feared I would look, but we're looking orange. I'm going to go ahead and use my Zuri Flawless and get that done, and I will be right back yet again. Okay, so I put on my contour using my new Luxie small contour brush that I got in my Ipsy bag, and I was kind of afraid because of the size that I'd end up with this really sharp line, but because it's so soft, it actually worked really well. So another new item that I used, and I have played with this. This is the Colored Rain Focal Point Glow Lighters in Bourgeois. Forgive me. Anyway, I think you can see from this color that this is not a highlighter for me, so we're going to use it as a blush. I tried it once before. It does have a bit of a glow to it, but it's not like, whoa, I'm shiny. So we're just going to pat that on the way I do my blushes. I do have to be a bit more careful. I put her on just a touch dark, but that's okay. I can fix that. Give me a minute. Probably should make them match and then fix them together. And forgive my fridge. She'd be rumbling noisy in the background. Okay. I did put it on a bit dark, but I do think it works really well for me as a blush. There's not so much glow that it's a problem. I'm taking this powder brush that has nothing on it, and I'm going to smooth it over here a little bit. And that will bring some of that tone down, as well as blend her in a bit more into the contour. So we're still just a touch dark, but it's not like it was. I think that worked really well for a blush. That's nice. And then I have this Moon Dust from Ciate. This is a highlighter. Haven't tried this yet. This came in my Ipsy bag. I'm going to use my Royal and Langnickel colorful. This is the one that they, the set that they are sending $2 or something like that over to that charity that helps the homeless, especially LGBTQ youth. And we're going to go She's there. Not getting a lot of shiny, but she's there. Not a whole lot of shine. I'm going to take a little bit and put it on my nose. Just a touch on the end. Brush her down. Don't want too much. And then what I'm going to do, since our shiny is barely there, I'm going to use another glow lighter. This one is in Luxurious Bling. This is from, like I said, it's a glow lighter, so it's from Colored Rain. And we are going to put a little bit of this over our Ciate and see what happens. Oh, we got more of a peachy purpley thing going on now. All right, so we are not getting a lot of light. I'm going to take my $1 Billion Brushes fan brush and try to, I think it's the colors I'm using. They're not, this one is giving me a purple and gold shift. I think she just came up a little bit brighter. There we go, just a little bit. And then we'll do this. Just blend her a little bit. Okay, so before I go and take my hair down, I'm gonna have to go and take my hair down. I'm gonna do something real quick. I like to put a spray on my face, especially with matte foundations, because my face looks more textured when it's matte. Now, what I have found, these two in combination work really well. This Pixie Glow Mist doesn't really seem to do much for like the dryness of my face, but it does seem to help set things. Whereas the Mario Badescu facial spray with aloe and cucumber, this one gives me more, well, less of a dry look to me. So we are going to put these on. Have to say that I do like the mister on this better than on this one. This one tends to be a bit more spitty. It's still a mist, but you do feel some of the larger droplets. But anyway, I've enjoyed both of these, but I will probably repurchase this. All right, so I am gonna go and put my hair down, and then I will be right back, and we will put on our lipsticks. Yes, plural, because I never do anything, you know, simple. Anyway, yes, be right back. Alrighty, so let's get our lipstick on and then we're done. Long video, I know. Trying all these new things. Starting off with my ColourPop Lippie Sticks Primer. This helps me take off particularly liquid lipsticks, and it provides a nice base that helps smooth out my lips. I'm going to next start with the Smashbox Always On liquid lipstick. This is a matte, I believe, and this is in the color Babe Alert. I got this from my Ipsy. It's got a very interesting doe foot. Not sure how I feel about the doe foot. Because she's a little on the too pink side for me, we are going to go over her with the Colored Rain classic lipstick in the color Affluence. I've used this a couple of times. It is a beautiful dark color. It should darken this up just fine if the Smashbox works well as a mixer. Have to say, no. This Smashbox is not a very good mixer. It dries down very, very quickly. My bullet has come a little bit loose using it over that. And over both of those, I have the Luna by Luna lip gloss. I've not been impressed with this lip gloss. It does have a small amount of color, not a lot, but it also doesn't have a whole lot of glossiness to it, but hopefully it'll loosen this up just a touch. Our colors are finally melding a little bit. I still think she's a little light and on the pink side. We will clean up our lines. I think I want something, still want something darker, but for now it does, it works. So I'm going to use this Dirty Little Secret. It's in pink. It's a fairly neutral color on me, and it will help define our line. And there we go, we're done. So some of the new things in the bag. Let's talk about some of these. Wasn't really impressed the first time around. Might need to use a slightly different brush with it, but yeah, not really impressed. The focal point glow lighters, I like them. The highlighter one has a really interesting peach to purple cast to it. Probably would be better by itself, but just like the Ciate, I don't think you're going to see a lot of glow from these. The one does work for me as a blush, so that's really nice. I'm not impressed with the foundation. It honestly is too matte. I don't think you guys can see it, but when I look in the mirror, I can see how dry my skin looks. So it's a matte, and apparently the Radiant primer didn't help much with that. Actually, let's just say I'd probably be a little more unhappy if I didn't use something that had more of a glowy look underneath this particular foundation, just because this foundation is looking kind of dry on my skin. The Bare Minerals, nice. It has a nice finish. It has blurred my pores a bit. Just a bit, but in combination with this particular foundation, like I said, I'm looking really dry, so it's not one that I'm going to blame the dryness on the foundation. So we'll just give this one another try with another foundation that I know that works with my skin. These Fierce Flicks, not impressed. Made a nice line, can't do a wing with it to save my life. Could be how long I've had it. Like I said, I do believe that this came in a Christmas giveaway that I won, so it's been here for 6 months not being used, but that shouldn't make that much of a difference, I don't think, really. So put that down. I do like the Lancome booster for the lashes. I'm not sure how I feel about the primer, our shiny little primer. And those are all of our main things, I think. So the palette, I actually like the palette. She did repair fairly well over the setting spray. The under eyes repaired. The colors are bright. They don't necessarily match what's in the pan. There is a lot of fallout. There is a lot of kickback. But other than that, for a first impressions, I do like the palette. Anyway, that's it for today. And I hope you like what you've seen. And if you do like what you've seen, I hope you will subscribe. If you do subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you know when I upload. I currently upload 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We did miss a Monday, but we had some stuff going on in the house. Just people got sick and it had to be dealt with. Yeah, had to be dealt with. But normally I upload Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we do occasionally have bonus videos. We usually have at least one, sometimes 2 a month. Those might start going down a little bit as we go further on. I'm having to be a little bit more careful with my funding. Yeah, so. But we do have my son's loot crates every other month, so we have another one probably coming in July. No, we had one in July. This is August, so September, I think, would be the next one. But we do have his come in every other month so that you can watch those. If you're interested in any of that stuff, you need to hit that notification bell. If you're part of the notification squad, you will want to check your subscription and your bell to make sure they're both still active. If you choose not to subscribe, we would understand. We'd be sad, but we would understand. However, we do hope that you will come back again. And when you do come back again, don't forget to bring your cup of tea. She's been sitting here. She's cold. I don't remember how this tasted cold. I may have to heat this up. But let's give her a sip and get going on our merry way, because it has been a long video. I've got one more to film. Yeah. Let's give it a sip. Yeah, I definitely prefer this one hot. There's a bitterness to it when it cools off. A lot of hot teas, the reason they don't work cold is because you get that slight bitterness, that slight bitter aftertaste, and this one definitely has that. You also, the turmeric and the ginger combined, the flavor gets a little odd. That's the only way I can phrase it. It's very strange. I can't describe it. So not a tea I'd have cold, but it is a really nice hot tea. It is one I can recommend for you if you like your teas hot. Just don't let it cool off too much, because you're going to end up with that bitter and this kind of odd mixing of the turmeric and the ginger that's actually a little unpleasant. But when it's all hot, it actually just really works really well. So just keep that in mind if this is a tea that you're going to be interested in purchasing. The link for that will also be down below. And with that, we are done, and I hope you all have a great day.